following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
14:20 in the morning, 14 minutes and 20 seconds worth of sports talk to get you through your daily commute. Hot takes, recaps, best bets, and a little humor to get your day going in the right direction. Sit back, grab your coffee, and let's get into it. All right, 14:20 in the morning for this Super Bowl Sunday, February 11th, 2024. Today's show, as always, is brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 on your first purchase. Remember, we are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Go to BellyUpSports.com for all their great articles and podcasts and shows, everything else they got going over there. Make sure you check out the Belly Up Super Bowl show that we did yesterday. Josh and the guys, we had a great time talking football yesterday, bright and early on a Saturday morning. We hit everything you need to hit about the big game that's happening 4.5 hours from now. So that should be a lot of fun to watch that game. I'll give you my prediction later on in this 14:20 in the morning. And thank you very much for everybody who listens to the show. And if you watch up on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really helps the show out and it gets the word out there and gets things going. Anyways, last night, the Toronto Maple Leafs lost a tough one on the road in Ottawa. The Leafs are in a bit of a pickle right now. They're in the second wild card spot. No guarantee to make the playoffs. I think they'll make the playoffs, but they had a little situation last night in the game in Ottawa. At the end of the game, Reilly Gregg got had himself a breakaway. He was going for it last night, and he had a little bit of too much gumption, I guess is one thing you could say. And he went and a little slap shot at the end. He's scored an empty net goal with an exclamation point. Morgan Reilly took exception to what happened last night. You watch it up on YouTube. It's there for your taking. I didn't really care for the Reilly Gregg doing that. It's just an unwritten rule in hockey. And then for Morgan Reilly to do what he did with a cross check to the face of Reilly Gregg, the way it turned out, hit him in the shoulder. If you're watching up there, hit him in the shoulder, and then it just rolled up into his face. Gregg went down. I didn't like that either. I like that Reilly took the exception to it, but the fake outrage that came about from that play, it was a bit odd to me because you know what? I didn't like either play, but you know what? I actually like both plays when it comes down to it for the simple fact that you had a guy who, with Morgan Reilly, showing some emotion for the first time in his career, really, and he's having himself a hell of a season, but he showed a little bit of emotion in his Leafs team that doesn't generally show emotion and gets a lot of grief for not showing emotion throughout the season. In the playoffs, they kind of get pushed around a little bit, and I like that it was Morgan Reilly and not Ryan Reeves or somebody else who's got a little bit of grit to him. I like that it was Reilly that took exception to Reilly Gregg doing that. I thought it was a little bit aggressive, yes, 100%, but I quite liked that he showed some emotion and said, you know what, you can't screw around with us. We've been getting our teeth kicked in lately. We haven't had a very good run. We win games, but nobody takes us seriously. People know they can push us around, like what happened with the Florida Panthers last year in the playoffs, and for one of the leaders of that team, the top five guys, you like to see Austin Matthews and John Tavares show some emotion. That's not who they are, but for Reilly to go out and do that, I thought it was a very good team bonding thing in a game that they probably have to win. You got to beat those Ottawa teams, the teams that are underneath you in the standings, because eventually you run out of games, and the Leafs aren't exactly, they're in that second wild card spot right now, only 3 points up on the Islanders. So you just think that, geez, that might be a good bonding thing, even in a loss that might bring that team together a little bit. And I actually didn't mind, like, you look at that thing, the unwritten rule, like back when you played hockey, this was 20, 30, 40 years ago, the scoring on the empty net and the extra motion and that kind of stuff, the sanctity of the game and the wholeness of the game and everything else. But for Reilly Gregg to do that the way he did last night, I like that for the simple fact that the Ottawa Senators are having themselves a terrible season. They got in the dumpsters early. They haven't been able to get out of it the way that the Edmonton Oilers have. Well, they lost 2 out of the last 3, actually. You kind of expect that, but we'll get to them in a second. You seen Gregg do that last night. Yeah, he went down. He took a cross check to the face, but that was a big an emotional win for a team that doesn't have a lot going for them. And to show some emotion and say, you know what, we're a pretty good hockey team. Let's see if we can't finish out this season with a little more grit and determination and show the world what we got. That we're in next year land, but next year we're going to have a much better hockey club and everything else. We're going to have it's a team building thing for them as well. Like I said, I didn't like the cross check to the face. You want to get rid of that stuff, the slap shot crap from the 70s and the 80s and then the 90s, all that goonery that happened. But it was a FAFO kind of situation for Ridley Gregg last night, and he found out. You fool around and find out. You know the other word. I'm not going to swear on a Sunday yet, but it's one of those situations where you've seen that happen, and it was a good thing for both teams. I'm not outraged by it by any means. There's a lot of fake outrage for the Goonery and everything else, but I thought it was a good team bonding thing for both hockey teams last night to get a little bit going for them down this stretch run, because it's very important for the Leafs to show a little bit of grit and determination, because they're not in a playoff spot right now. Like I said, I think they will make a playoff. They'll make a playoff appearance, but you don't want to be that second wild card team and have to face Tampa or Boston, whoever it might be. And you just think that they got to show a little bit of emotion last night, and they had the guys on the ice to do it that showed a little bit of emotion. You seen Tavares kind of grab onto somebody at the end there, but it wasn't enough. You look at that Leafs team, they got to do it this year, because next year with Nylander's contract, it pops up. I don't think the Leafs win a Stanley Cup this year. I don't think they're going to win one in my lifetime the way that they're playing, but it's tough to see them go through this year in, year out. I know there's a lot of people who aren't Leafs fans who are kind of cheering that on, but I thought it was a good thing last night. Ottawa played a heck of a game last night. Ottawa came out guns a-blazing, and they got a good young hockey team, but they just couldn't get it going early, and they fell behind, and they don't have that firepower that the Edmonton Oilers have to get themselves out of the 2-8-1 run or whatever it was to start the season. So I quite liked it. I thought it was a good move by both teams. You don't want to see the Groonery, like I said, but it's just it was a good team bonding thing for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and to get that going. And look at that Calgary Flames team. They're not out of the woods yet, and they're selling off parts and pieces here and there already, and they're talking about sitting Tanev out. They all of a sudden they won 4 in a row. They won all 3 games since the All-Star break, and the Calgary Flames are they're in the winner still a little bit, and they're not out of the woods, out of the playoff spot yet. I think they'll end up selling guys off, because what's one playoff round get you? Gives you 2 home games and that's it. So I think it'd be a wise move for Craig Conroy and the Calgary Flames to make some moves there and get it done and say, so you know what, we're not a Stanley Cup contender. We want to get there. We want to get there when the new building opens, and I think it's 3 years, and maybe start rebuilding and bottom out per se. Don't finish 19th. Don't finish 21st. Get down to the bottom to get a good draft pick. But once again, draft picks are just guys. You don't know what you're going to get with the draft pick. So it's an odd situation that the Calgary Flames are in, and you wonder what they're going to do in the very near future. They made the trades last week, and they're Lindholm, and are they going to keep their goalie? I don't know. Vancouver is still a wagon. It's unbelievable. I talked with Captain Lou the other night on the Captain Lou Extravaganza. I guess on his show on Wednesday. Make sure you guys go and check out Lou. He does great work over there. But on 12 Ounce Sports Network, I think it is. But we were talking about the Vancouver Canucks and what a great hockey season they're having. Little stumble yesterday against Red Wings, but they got a team that's going to do some damage in the playoffs. They and behind Rick Tocchet, a little bit of grit and a little bit of determination from Tocchet, because that's kind of player he was. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's all going to pan out with the Vancouver Canucks rolling in the playoffs, because they haven't had a lot of playoff success since 2011. I think when they went to the finals that year and lost to the Bruins. So it's been a long dusty road for the Vancouver Canucks. I'm stumbling a little bit trying to get all this in. The Edmonton Oilers lose a 2 out of 3, but that usually happens after a long streak like that. I mean, it's hard to compare it to any other streak. It's the second longest streak in NHL history, but losing 2 out of 3 to some good hockey teams. And usually when there's that coach's bump that the LA Kings had last night with Rick Hillier taking the helm over, you kind of were thinking maybe the Edmonton Oilers were going to be in 10 tough last night, and they were. Little stumble, not a big deal. They'll be fine. They'll be a playoff team. They'll probably win a round or 2. Do you trust their goaltending in the long run? I really do. Do you go out there and make a deal? And is Marc-Andre Fleury, he's played his 1,000th game the other night. What a remarkable story that guy is. The way he's just played, and nobody really dislikes the guy, and he's been given the shot by the Penguins a few years back, and then by the Vegas Golden Knights a couple of years ago, and he just goes about, smiles, and does his job. You wonder if he's going to end his career with the Minnesota Wild, or if someone's going to take a run at a certain Marc-Andre Fleury for a playoff run. You wonder if maybe he could end up with the Toronto Maple Leafs, or maybe with the Edmonton Oilers, and be a good 1-2 punch, because I don't know if Skinner's the guy to take you to a Stanley Cup playoff run. He's having a hell of a season. Obviously, he bounced back from that horrific start they had. But maybe a Marc-Andre Fleury moving on from the Minnesota Wild, who are once again having a tough season. They always do. That's one of the most irrelevant teams in the National Hockey League. It's tough to say, but it's true. They're just not relevant. They're the Columbus Blue Jackets. It's the same thing. Not relevant, not good. And they got to make some changes there. Yeah, they fired their coach earlier this season, but things haven't gotten better for the Minnesota Wild. So look for them to move move Marc-Andre Fleury. That trade deadline, which is only about 3 weeks away, I think, when it's all said and done. It's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out. The Morgan Reilly hit, we'll go through that one more time. The Reilly hit was it was dirty. It was got a little bit aggressive, but I like the aggression that he did show. We'll play it again up here on YouTube right now. That the aggression that he did show with that hit was the enthusiasm was there, and I liked it a lot. Didn't have to get up into the guys' jibs, but the both teams showing some emotion in a game that is filled with emotion. And we kind of complain about the game not having emotion and the guys being robots and everything else. But when a guy does finally show some emotion, people have all this fake outrage, and that's what kind of makes me laugh about it. You can't have one or the other. They got to be both. And I quite liked it. I liked the emotion at the end of the game. The Leafs are like, you're not going to screw with us. We're a team to be beat. We're a team to be reckoned with come playoff time if they make the playoffs. And this is what we're going to do. F around and find out. One of those things, right? And Reilly Greig effed around and found out last night with I think Reilly's going to probably get 5 games for that. It seems a bit rich, but he's a first-time offender, but I think he's going to get a 5 for that. They don't like the stick work, especially stick work to the head, the directors of player safety and everything else. So I think that's going to be the situation with Reilly Greig or Morgan Reilly. He's going to get himself a 5-gamer, and that's going to hurt the Leafs. That's going to hurt Leafs a lot. He's their best defenseman by a long shot, and they're not in the playoff spot right now. They're only 3 points up on the Islanders, and having Morgan Reilly, your best D-man, your heart and soul guy, as we seen last night, sitting out 3 to 5 games. I think it's going to be a 5er. That's not a good thing for the Leafs when they're struggling to get in the playoffs. Anyways, should be fun to watch that, how that's going to pan out. This game's on right now. It's a good time to be a sports fan. The Super Bowl's later on today. We'll get a little work from our sponsor at SeatGeek, and I'll give you my Super Bowl prediction.
SeatGeek presents Boomstick Lady. SeatGeek helps her find the perfect seat so she can sit where her boomsticks make the biggest boom. Oh, okay. SeatGeek handles the tickets so fans can fan.
All right, there's our friends at SeatGeek. Use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 on your first purchase over there at SeatGeek. Get your football. No, football's done. She's all done today. Hockey tickets, baseball tickets, concert tickets, whatever you got going on. Basketball, there, it's all good there over there with our friends over there at SeatGeek. Thank you very much for them for sponsoring the 1420 podcast. Anyways, Super Bowl Sunday game starts in about 3 hours and 15 minutes, all pending all the hoo-ha that goes on before. But I've been bouncing back and forth with my predictions throughout the week. 49ers and Chiefs should be a great game no matter what. But I think that it's going to be one of the greatest games of all that we've seen in a long time. The teams are evenly matched. I think both teams have a definite shot at winning this thing. But Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce are rolling right now. And then you watch that defense that the Chiefs have, that's shutting down the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson a couple weeks ago held him to 10 points. Jackson wasn't great, but I think the defense should take a little more credit for that win for the Chiefs. You have a team that's a legacy team. I don't know if they're a GOAT team yet or all that stuff. I don't know if it's a dynasty yet. I think they would have to win another one to be a dynasty, 1 or 2 actually to be a dynasty. I think that's how that word should be used. It shouldn't be bantered about that quickly and that often. I think there's got to be different ways that you say a dynasty or a GOAT. Patrick Mahomes has the 2. If he gets the 3rd today, he'll be up there with some of the greats of all time. But he's not at Brady status yet. It's going to take a lot more years, a lot more Super Bowls and everything else. So to be throwing the dynasty and GOAT terms out there with the Chiefs, it's a bit rich for me. But we'll see what happens today. They have a great defense. Then they have the X factor with Patrick Mahomes. I can't see them losing, but the San Francisco 49ers have a guy who I think is going to have a game today that to put an exclamation point on his already great career. I think that Christian McCaffrey is going to be the MVP of this football game. I think he's going to score 2 touchdowns. I think he's going to maybe pass for another one. He's that kind of a player. And on the big stage that he's going to have today, I think Christian McCaffrey is going to win this game for the San Francisco 49ers. I think that the 49ers are due. I think that if not now, then when? And right now, I think today is when this is all going to come down. I think the 49ers are destined to win a game. They've been licking the jar for a few years, and now they're going to have a better quarterback in Brock Purdy today, not Mr. Irrelevant after today anymore. They're going to win a Super Bowl. Christian McCaffrey is going to be the MVP, and that's my final my final decision on this game. I've been bouncing back and forth in this one all week long. The different shows I was on with Captain Lou Wednesday, me and Dave Monday and Thursday, and then with the guys at Cigars and Cigar and Sports on Friday night, and I was bouncing back and forth with that Mahomes and the Chiefs were going to win this one. But I really think that it's going to be the San Francisco 49ers are going to win this football game. Christian McCaffrey is going to be the MVP, and the Mr. Irrelevant tag will be taken off of Brock Purdy's nameplate right in about 6 hours from now. I also wouldn't mind seeing the 49ers win this game because I'm so sick and tired of all of the stupid conspiracy theories revolving around the Swifty Bowl and everything else that's going on. It's ridiculous. I don't believe in these conspiracy theories. This will put it all to rest once and for all today. I want the 49ers to win because they're my team, and I want the 49ers to win to get rid of all this conspiracy theory crap that's been going on for a long time. It's ridiculous. It's stupid, and it's going to end today. San Francisco 49ers 27, the Kansas City Chiefs 23. Mark that down in your book. Go to Bodog, go to BetUS, go to wherever it is you play, but make sure you play responsibly. There's my thought for today. They're going to that's it. Yeah. The 49ers going to win the Super Bowl, and it's going to be it should be a great game. And the Usher halftime show won't be too bad either, I hope. I forgot how many songs Usher had. Me and Deanne were making supper last night, and she, can you play some Usher songs? And, oh yeah, I know that one, and I know that one. Like, I mean, it's older. I'm 50. And white, so whatever. It's one of those things. I don't know Usher that well, but anyways, that's it for 14:20 in the morning today. Thank you very much for those who watched today on YouTube and on Facebook and wherever else we got going. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel today. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all that, or X, whatever it's called. Make sure you tell your friends about the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. 4 beer with sports talking a whole lot more. I've actually got to get some beer. We ran out for some reason last night. I don't know what happened. One of those things. Anyways, 14:20 in the morning. And remember, everybody, it doesn't matter where you are. It's who you're with. Have a great day. Enjoy the game, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
You just listened to the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. 4 beer with sports talking a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Let's get into it.